What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another episode of the Narcissists Code. I'm your favorite self-aware narcissist, Mr. Lee Hammett, better known as Mental Healness across all social media platforms. If this is your first time seeing my face or hearing my voice, I'm a diagnosed narcissist and I use my platform on social media to raise awareness for NPD, get more people into therapy, and also validate the victims and survivors of said disorder and also said traits that come along with the disorder and not having a disorder. Just narcissistic traits in general, y'all. Just toxic traits. I'm gonna call it the toxic code from now. Today's episode is going to be about narcissistic people and grieving around narcissists. How do narcissists handle grief when you are crying in front of a narcissist or you are sad in front of a narcissist and things like that? Let's just say it doesn't have to be what does it have to be? It doesn't have to be a family member. It can be a pet. It can be something of sentimental value to you that you lose personally, that you personally lose. And you're crying in front of the narcissist, and you're trying to get them to understand that your mom is gone, your dad is gone, your dog is gone, your fish has suddenly drowned or came undrowned, came up from air. Your fish has passed away as well. Your fish is belly up, as they said in Finding Nemo. You don't want to go belly up. And narcissistic people don't handle that well. They don't handle your grief well. We know the double standards exist. We do know that everybody knows that the double standards of dealing with the narcissist exist. And y'all, if you want to know why I'm filming that today, I'm filming it in my Keller Williams office in Kernersville. So y'all, there's nobody here. I'm going to do some real estate work too. But yeah, the double standards do exist with narcissistic people. They just do, y'all. So if you're dealing with a narcissist or toxic person, just understand that they're not going to handle grief correctly. If you need a shoulder to cry on or somebody to comfort you in grief, go find your friend, go find another family member, go find somebody else, a coworker, go find an online support group or something like that. Because don't expect a narcissistic person to grieve with you. If anything, narcissistic people they're not going to alleviate your grief. They're going to add to it. They're going to make you grieve and be mad and cry at the same time. You can be grieving and then you're going to be mad at the narcissist. You're going to be sad with the narcissistic person. You're going to do all this other stuff. They're going to add to your grief. They're going to add to it. They just are. You're going to look for a shoulder to cry on and they're going to give you, it's like a trust fall. Oh, I'm crying. Bap. You're going to lay it right in your damn face. Do not look to a narcissist to support you while you're grieving. If here's the caveat though, right here it is right here, y'all. I don't know if I'll use caveat right. I'll be saying it, but I don't know if I'm using it correctly. Here's a small caveat here. I'm gonna look it up. It just sounds good when I use it, don't it? Y'all can't say it don't sound good. But here's the small caveat though. It really depends on how long you've been knowing the narcissist. If your relationship with this narcissistic person is established, you can't depend on them for grief. But if you have some type of grief during the love bombing phase, they might step up. They might use this grieving time or this time where you feel extremely vulnerable to get you to fall for them even more. They might show up with some soup, some coffee, or something to make you feel good about yourself. They're going to do something they might do something in order to just go ahead and attach you to them more. So you can then look, no good deed from a narcissist goes unpunished. No good deed from a narcissistic person goes unpunished. So if they are there for you during your grieving moment in the beginning or whenever, they're going to use this against you. They're going to use this against you forever. This goes into what I call the narcissistic bank. It goes into the bank account that narcissistic people use. You can't say, I never did anything for you. You can't. You remember I was there for you when your dog died. You remember I was there for you when your dad passed away. Remember I was there for you. They're going to use that against you later on to alleviate themselves of something or to get something from you, to make you feel guilty about not wanting to do something for them or allowing them to do something or allowing them to get away with something. They're going to make you feel guilty about that. They just are. That's the way of the world when you're dealing with a narcissistic person. I don't know how much better how to convey that to you even more. You know what I mean? Because when you're dealing with narcissists, you deal with toxic people, this is how it's going to go, y'all. This is exactly how it's going to go. I try to put it into people's head that like narcissistic people, they want, don't look for them to grieve with you, y'all. I'm just saying they're going to get mad at you. Your grief might make them angry. Narcissists will put a time limit on your grief. You've been in the living room crying. They'll be like, what's going on? What's wrong with you? You be like, my mom has passed. And they'll shut the door on you. They don't want to hear it. You got about 30 minutes to clear it up. You got 30 minutes of grief. They're gonna go to the bar and drink. Look, I see you going through some stuff right now. I'm gonna give you some time to yourself. I'm gonna go out with my boys. I'm gonna go out with the girls. I see you're crying over here. I see you might need me, but try not to need me. I'm going out. They're not gonna want to switch their plans up because something unexpectedly happened to your family or your friends or something like that. They're just not, especially if it was kind of coming anyway. If the grief was coming, like one of your people in your life, God forbid, is dealing with some cancer or something like that, or dealing with some kind of terminal illness, and that death is terminal. Death was coming. So if it has to do with that, they'll tell you, well, what'd you expect? It was stage 5. It was stage 4 cancer. What did you expect? How much longer do you think? You should have been prepared for this. Why didn't you prepare for this? You knew it was going to happen. They're going to belittle you during your grief. I'm just telling you, don't look for them to cry. And it's crazy. You have to stifle yourself around that. And I know that's how I've been too, y'all. It gets into my head. I'll think about it. I've been that way. Dang. But then I start thinking well, there's a different version of me. You know what I mean? Well, it was true. They were sick. They were 99 years old. How much time do you expect they had left? You know what I mean? That's things I used to say. And y'all use that against me later on. Lee, you used to be an evil bastard. You used to do this and you used to do that. I told you I used to do that. I'm not hiding from it. I'm not shying away from the stuff that I've used to do. You know what I mean? The only thing I can do right now is be a better version of myself, of my wife, my kids, my family, myself, my life, and everybody around me. You know what I mean? That's the only thing that I can do, honestly. So I hope that you deal with what you did. Like I said, if you need to grieve, you have to grieve. Sometimes you have to grieve in silence. And it's kind of crazy that you have to stifle your grief around a narcissistic person. That's kind of wild. This is how it happens, though. When you're dealing with a narcissist, you have to stifle your grief. You can't grieve around narcissistic people correctly because they'll hold it against you. They'll put a time limit on your grief. If you're dealing with a narcissist, they'll put a time limit on your grief. You got 30 minutes to an hour to grieve. If you're crying next week over something that happened a week ago, why are you still crying about this? Why haven't you gotten over this yet? Why are we still dealing with this? Why are we still talking about this? You knew it was coming. Suck it up. People die. People get sick. Goodness gracious. God, nobody wants to hear this all today. You're making the house uncomfortable now. Get out. You're going to argue with a narcissist. If you're grieving around a narcissistic person, they're going to cause arguments with you. They're not going to let you grieve in peace. So don't expect sympathy or empathy or compassion from a narcissist that is comfortable with you. If you know this person, they're comfortable with you, don't expect them to be there for you if something bad happens to anybody in your family. It's just not going to happen. I know people don't want to hear that, but just don't expect it from them. Y'all been together for 10 years. You had multiple people pass away during this time. That narcissistic person, that toxic person has never been there for you throughout this whole 10 years. But somehow somebody else passes away and you're expecting them to be there. That's insane. That'll drive you crazy, y'all. And that'll keep you in these toxic relationships. It just will. So if you're dealing with narcissists and toxic people, just understand. But if something happens to them where they need to grieve, they'll either suck it up and not show any kind of emotion, or they'll expect you to be there at their beck and call. They expect you to totally be there for them. That's just it. They'll either completely shut off, like me. If I've had two, my grandma and both of my grandmas died, but I was in food line. Got the call, didn't show any emotions. My wife was just like, "You okay? You okay? You good?" I'm like, "I'm fine." That's the name. People pass away. They were old. Yeah. She was more sad than I was. Some narcissists don't grieve at all. They hold it and they stifle those emotions. But guess what? Because narcissistic people don't allow themselves to grieve, guess what? Later on, it's gonna come out as anger or rage at you. They're gonna start an argument out of thin air with you because we can't grieve correctly. It just happens, y'all. It really just happens. If you're dealing with a narcissist type person, just understand this is what you're gonna be dealing with when doing the grieving process. I'm just saying. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Toxic people, narcissistic people, don't allow you to grieve correctly. Don't expect them to be a shoulder to crown, or they'll try to. Matter of fact, your grief and your tears might actually turn that narcissistic person on. You might be crying, and that narcissist, you might be like, my mom passed away, and they'll be like, mama passed away, but you looking good right now. And they'll try to sleep with you. They'll try to clap your crying cheeks when you over here crying over your mom passing away, your dad passing away. I'm just telling you, the lack of empathy is palpable when you're dealing with narcissists. The lack of empathy is insane when the grief comes up. But anyways, y'all, thank y'all for tuning in to another episode. I really, truly appreciate every single one of y'all, because as much as y'all learn from me, y'all say y'all learn from me, I learn even more from y'all. And y'all, if you haven't noticed, if you haven't heard yet, live in-person meetup in Durham, North Carolina at the Honeysuckle at Lakewood in Durham, North Carolina, July 23rd from 3 p.m. until. We might have a little after party, a little after event somewhere downtown Durham. We haven't decided yet. Me, Ben Taylor, some other TikTok people coming together. So come through, say hey. The last one in Virginia Beach was went well. We had 35 people come out. Just come through, y'all. Covered AC, gonna be AC. Maybe some hors d'oeuvres or some drink. I don't know. Just come through. Come say hey, meet me in person. I won't bite you. I'm not a robot. I'm not gonna robot you. Anyway, y'all, thank you for tuning in. Like and subscribe, of course. And as always, mental illness is out. Peace.